Hello, this is the second quick Revit tutorial, and we'll follow on straight away from the first tutorial and start looking at the menu system and toolbars with Revit. So you'll see the file menu is now the Revit menu with a large R across it here. And that is fairly predictable with file, open, save, print, export, exit, all those options that you normally are used to with most programs. The only thing you'll notice along the top toolbar that's a little bit different is there's a measure tool for measuring references between objects. There's a dimension tool, a tag tool, a text tool, and a 3D view tool, section, thin lines, and then the window switching. Now these are kind of a quick access for tools that are also in the normal toolbars. I'm assuming that Revit has assigned these as the likeliest that you'll want to access quickly, and therefore they're kept up here in this toolbar, and they are quite useful. But I'm going to take you through each of the toolbars below that area, starting with architecture. So in architecture, the first tool you'll see is the modify tool. You'll use that for selecting objects. And sometimes if you're using another tool, it might be useful just to click that to revert back to selecting again and deselect an object or deselect a tool that's about to do something in the model. Next you'll find is a wall tool. We're going to go straight ahead and use this to demonstrate it. It's taking a second to load up. This should open a new pointer, and you should see that the properties on the right hand side has changed. They no longer show the view, they now show a basic wall, generic 200 millimeters, and all of the options related to that wall. You should also see that another bar has been added below here with some options related to the wall. So you have a size here, the height, and options to do whether the height of it is connected to anything or unconnected. So this is going to be an 8-meter high wall, which I think I'm going to drop to 3,000 millimeters, that is. So that's getting closer to a story height in a building in the UK. You also have the location line, whether it's selected to a wall center line or face. I'll leave that as is. And whether you want to chain these walls, as in add more walls to it as you go. Any offsets that you have, I'm not going to use that at the minute, or radiuses. So you can now see that the pointer's changed to a cross. That means we are ready to install this wall. If you want to select a different wall, you come over here to the Properties tab, and it can pull down a menu. I'm going to change to the 300mm masonry. Fairly typical for a building to have somewhere close to 300mm thick walls. And I'm just going to click in space here and move across. And as you can see, it's showing the dimension of the wall above it as I create it. Now I want to control this, so I'm gonna tell it that I want a 12-meter wall. To do that, I'm going to type 12,000 millimeters. And then hit enter. That has created a 12-meter wall for me. Hello. And I would like that to be 7 meters. As you can see, it's coming up with 6 meters. All I need to do is type 7,000 for 7 meters, 7,000 millimeters, hit enter, and it will select that. We now have 2 walls in. I want to enclose this space, so I'm going to come across again. And as you can see here, I don't have to type it in anymore. If you're close enough, Revit should automatically put a reference line to the wall parallel with it. And all you have to do then is click. You no longer have to type in any dimensions. So I'll click that. And then I'll just bring this wall back and click to close it. We now have our 4 walls in a rectangle, and that has created a small room or building. We're quite far out now, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go straight ahead and go zoom to fit. Zoom to fit now is on the small toolbar here to the side of the window. As you can see, because of the elevation icons, that has not changed it. So what I'm going to do instead is zoom in region. Select that. I'm going to left click and drag the region around that area. Now that we get closer, you can see that there's an actual texture applied to the wall. And if you come to the left side, you see that in the views, you can switch elevation from a plan to the elevation. And then we have our 3-meter wall. There's a level above it at 4 meters. But I want that level to be the same as the wall. So I'm just going to click that level. And I'm just going to click the 4, excuse me. That's accidental. I'm just going to zoom into this region. I'm going to click the value and type 3,000. And that level 2 is now going to be the same height as this wall. I'm going to zoom to fit. And then what I'm going to do is select that wall. And I'm going to have a look at what it's connected to. It says the top constraint here on this wall is unconnected. I want that to be fixed to level 2. So I'm going to go up to level 2. And I'm just going to click in space here to deselect. You may want to also go to level 1 plan and check that property has been changed. So this one, the property has been changed on the north elevation so that it will always be fixed to level 2. This wall is unconnected, as are these 3. So this time what we're going to do is we're going to change it in plan. I've selected one by clicking on it. I'm just going to hold Control, click the other 2 walls, there and there. And then I'm going to come across to the top constraint. I'm going to select up to level 2 again. Now, all 4 walls are connected to level 2. Level 2 is set to the same height of 3 meters, and that's how I want this to be set up. So those are 2 different ways of changing the levels of your walls. And now if we were to go to the north elevation again, if we were to modify level 2, let's say it was to become a different height, we have 2 options. We can go back to what we did previously, which is select the value over here. We can select this value again, or we can come across the properties, select the level, go to properties, and you should see here that the height is listed, and you can modify it here. So let's go 3250. Let's set that as our new height. We've now created level 2 at a higher level, and all of the walls are connected to that level, so they've all come up to meet it. I'm going to click to zoom to fit, because as you can see, visually this elevation is quite poor. The levels extend way beyond what we require. So I'm just going to click modify in order to deselect what I had selected. And I'm going to select this level 2 line. And what I want to do is bring them in. So what you should see is I'm just clicking inside this circle at the end of the line and then dragging it towards the wall. Now when I go to zoom to fit, we have a much tidier presentation. And then we'll go back to level 1 by selecting level 1 on the left side of the views. And here we are back to our plan. So that's really a very basic way to create walls. You might also do the same with the rest of the building. So let's select a door, which is conveniently the next tool along the bar. It's just taking a second to process. It's going to select a fairly standard door. We're just going to put this in for now as a placeholder. And we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to go back to architecture. I'm going to select a window this time. Very simple. There isn't very much to it. It's a very small window. I'm just going to select something a bit larger, a 915. And we're going to insert a couple of windows. Now, you'll have noticed there that I've accidentally done something. If you paid attention, you should be able to see that two of the windows have the window and glass frame, the glass and the window frame on the inside, and one has it on the outside. To change that, you just click on the window, and you'll see you had two arrows here floating in front of the window. And you just click that, and it reverses the orientation of the window. Same here, click that, click the two arrows, and the orientation is changed again. So now all of my windows are facing outwards. The next thing we'll just do is check the north elevation, and you should now see a door and 3 windows in this wall. It's not a very pretty building, but it's a basic object to design further from here. We can then zoom into this region again. ZR is the shortcut, by the way. And if we go back to our elements, we have components. Now, components are normally different types of objects, and furniture is one good example. Here we have a desk. The desk can be placed in space here. Click, and I'm just going to click modify here to deselect that. We have columns if you're doing something structural, but we're using walls instead of columns here, so I'm going to leave that for now. And we have roofs, ceilings, floors. Now this building has no floor at the minute, so I'm going to have a look at this. I'm going to select a structural floor. This is quite simple. If you see up the top right, as you've changed objects, the modify toolbar should change to that specific option. In this case, we're just going to sketch a rectangle. We use the outside of our walls as a guide, so we just click and drag the rectangle, and click again, and we have created a floor below the walls. Now it's still asking me for if I want to create any more floors, so I'm just going to click the tick box here, which completes that floor. And you can see in blue it's all highlighted here. The next thing a building will need is obviously much more detail than this, but for brevity we're going to do a quick roof. So go up to the roof option, and we'll do a roof by footprint. The lowest level, we would like to move it. We'd definitely like to move it up to level 2. So because it's bringing this up because I'm on level 1 at the minute, we need to go up to level 2. And that will help us make a roof on top of it. Same again, it's quite simple. You create a rectangle using the modify tool up here. Will have changed. And I'm just going to create an offset of 120 mil. Sorry. 120 mil. I'm going to click. And drag around the building. That doesn't look right now. If I look at that, that looks like it's not correct because it looks very close to the building, but we'll go with it and trust it for now. So you should now see level 2 has a roof. And just as a quick check, I'm going to ensure that I've put the right dimension in here. So I'm going to use the measure tool. Select the wall, edge of the wall, 120 mil. Yeah, so the roof is projecting 120 mil. That's fine. I'll go seem to fit. And you should have found that when the roof was created, that a pitch roof was enabled. Now when you go to the north elevation, you'll see the roof is pitched in this building. That's the basis of that tutorial. It's quite basic, but it should give you the beginnings of how to create each individual element. Thank you.